Hey traders, this is Travis from another 24FX Academy weekly wrap up. Today is Friday, October 26, 2018. We're going to first start off with some fundamental analysis, also with some market sentiment, and it ended off with a nice technical analysis wrap up. So the first thing I'd like to talk about, I know we have the Nikkei, but first, before we get into the Nikkei, we're going to talk about the Japanese pair and why they was actually the strongest pair out of all the major E7 pairs. So this week, the Japanese yen broke out, continuing with its strength. For the last 2 weeks, I've been looking at the strength index tool that I have that a buddy of mine has created, and it's still beating out all the other major currency pairs, as we can see. And the reason why is because it was actually following the bond yields, and the bond yields is really strong in Japan. Really low interest rates currently, and everything is just looking really good right now. And that's why a lot of people are throwing their currency into the Japanese yen, causing it to be, in my opinion, really, really overbought. Like I said, for the last 2 weeks, it's been in its strong strength, but as technically regarding price action for the last 4 weeks, the Japanese yen has been taking the win for all of them. So from the Japanese yen, we're going to talk about the euro, which the euro, as everybody knows, is my favorite currency pair. It's not doing as strong. Right now, for the last 3 weeks, or even the past 2 months, we had Turkey, which is part of the EU, not doing well. And right now, in current times, we have the Italy budget, which is really killing the euro strength. Also, Deutsche Bank. If you haven't been watching the Deutsche Bank is a German bank under the EU currency pair. The numbers are not looking good. And within this week, for fundamental news, we had the ECB had a press release on Friday and also another one Thursday. Just things are just not looking well for the euro. But on the technical side, if we can get that big push that we need, things are looking good. But we'll also be looking at the market sentiment. So we'll see what the major banks and major players are looking at and what they're doing with their volume in the future market. So that's what's going on in the euro. The euro, out of all the currency pairs, I think it only beat the Great British Pound and the New Zealand dollar. And the only reason why I beat those two, Great British Pound was the leader for the last 2 months. You can't beat a leader for long, so it just naturally happened for the euro to beat the Great British Pound. It's not, to me, a big win. Doesn't really show strength. And then the New Zealand dollar was also strong for the last 2 months. It was actually the second leader of all the currency pairs. So now we're talking about Switzerland franc briefly. And the Switzerland franc is slowly jumping up because of the PMI report that came through for them within this week. Nothing really major that's going on regarding Switzerland franc. It's just because it is what it is. Switzerland franc is a safe haven, so when people are not feeling comfortable with their currency, they move to the Switzerland franc. I think the only major news that they had was the ECB with the pressure with that, which caused them to have some bullish momentum, but not enough. It actually brought them down for a short period of time, having a small retracement. But we'll also look at the technical pairs of the US dollar Switzerland franc pair that I've been watching this week, and we actually had a great trade. So if you're not in our trading community, you should definitely reach out. We have a trading group on Telegram, and we also have a trading alert program where we share our trades and also fundamental news throughout the week through Telegram. So we have two groups. If you're just a trader that doesn't need an alert and you just want to trade with other traders, we have that. And also if you're a new trader or you're just, a trader that needs a little help or some tips, we have another chat group for that. So so that's what's going on in Switzerland. Switzerland franc only beat out Great British Pound, New Zealand dollar. No big woohoo. Also beat the euro, which, as we already know, the euro is not that strong, but that's also a good sign. And then we also beat out the Aussie, which the Aussie, if we look here on our strength index, is pretty high. So for the Switzerland franc to beat out the Aussie, that's a good sign. So like I said, for the last 2 weeks, we got to really keep an eye out on the Switzerland franc. It's coming soon enough. It's coming. I can't say when, but I know I'm looking at the signs. It's coming. It's cool. Now we're going to move over to the Canadian dollar. Now the Canadian dollar, even on a strong strength index, is at the bottom. actually did pretty good. It actually was the second strongest currency pair for this current week, and or only reason why it actually picked up its strength or momentum was also because of the oil prices that backed it up. Um, and what I told most of my students regarding trading forex, you need to look at the fundamentals. And under the fundamentals, not only the news that reports, but you got to understand which each currency have imports and exports. If you don't know what your currency uh how would you say superpowers are, you're gonna be lost in this game. You'll always be a victim compared to actually being an investor. To me, in my opinion, there's two type of traders. You have the gambler and then you have the investor. I think there's four other type of psychology mindsets as a trader, but those are the two major ones I want to talk about. And as a trader, you don't want to be a gambler. Gambler goes to the casino, puts his quarter or puts a dollar on the table and loses. The investor is just like the professional gambler in the sense that he goes to the blackjack table or the Texas Hold'em table and he's winning because he has a system. He has also a game plan. He understands how the casino works. So if you understand how the casino works as a forex trader, you understand how the economy works. Long story short, that's why the Canadian dollar was pushing strong because of oil, because that's what they need for their country to back their currency up. And then last but not least, the US dollar. You haven't seen any of the other daily reports that we have been doing on the YouTube channel and also on the webinar. Uh, the Fed actually dropped the beige book on Thursday, and it was great. No, I apologize. I believe that was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday it dropped the beige book, and it was a great day. Brought some strength to the U.S. dollar, and also made the Canadian dollar and the U.S. dollar that on that day really mixy, because also the Canadian dollar dropped some fundamental news as well regarding interest rates for the future of November. So I see Canadian dollar coming up, being in the middle of some currency strength for the end of this year. I don't know what the signs may be for the first quarter of 2019, but it doesn't look bad for them. Regarding U.S. dollar, U.S. dollar definitely seems that they still have some bullish sentiment coming up, and the only reason why is because their emerging markets are falling. So right now, like usual, the U.S. dollar is safe. But if we look at our stock indexes, everybody's hurting globally, and we'll get into that right now, talking about the markets. So if we look here, we have the Nikkei, which is the Japanese stock market. On the weekly, we're getting really close inside the cloud. Not a good sign. The only thing that can really show some continuation of strength for this, if next week we can bounce out this cloud, that would be my indicator that we're still bullish. We're still in a bull trend, as you can see, going up and out of the cloud. Also, this 55, but we just broke it temporarily. I don't know until what happens next week. But right now, this is the picture globally for the stock markets. Just bearish, strong bearish sentiment. But we had this back in January 2018, at the beginning of the year, the same picture. So we won't know until we know. But the thing is, this didn't really hold the 55. It broke under, pushed back up. But this is a strong push down out of the 55 into the cloud. So right now, this is not looking positive for me for the Nikkei. And we get into the Shanghai Composite. They have been bearish for a very, very long time, especially in the beginning of this year. Started off into the bear market. So this is just nothing new, but we have a strong pushback last week, creating a pin bar, but then we had an inverted pin bar. Excuse me, let me take a sip of water. Excuse me, guys. I do this all day, lessons and this YouTube videos. My throat gets a little sore. Excuse me. But anyway, back to the charts. So if we look here, we have this inverted pin bar showing some more mix in the market. So it's not enough signs showing that, hey, the Shanghai Composite is still going to continue with this bearish move. In my opinion, it still shows that it doesn't have enough strength for the bulls. So this is still bearish in my opinion. Moving to U.S. markets, we have the Nasdaq, same picture. Only difference is we got really close to this cloud and bounced off. So this is a good sign. If we can break over this 55, we are still positive on the Nasdaq. But this is just the emerging markets right now. A lot of people are falling, and also reason why within these current times in the U.S. session, if you do trade stocks, you'll understand that they just stop all buybacks. Meaning, if you don't know what that means, it means current companies can actually buy their own stocks. That cutoff was just recent. So now that the companies can't buy their own stocks, traders are not investing, and hedge fund managers are not actually buying into stocks, and then the government's not even buying into their own stocks. There's not enough momentum in the stock market. It's not enough confidence or market sentiment in the U.S. stocks. And also globally in other countries, they're not really investing in their stocks. So that only leaves one place to put your money. Well, not one place, but regarding trading, we only have a few options. We have bonds, which certain bond yields are doing well. We have currencies, which we all trade, and if you're watching this, and then we have alternative currency, which will be crypto. So just you want to just keep a full picture of the market. So this is what things are looking like, and then if we get into the S&P 500, same picture, really close to the Ichimoku cloud on a weekly. The only positive thing is it didn't close it within the 50 Ichimoku cloud. So let's see what happens next week. If we can bounce up, continuation back into this bullish move, great. If not, if any of these emerging markets fall inside this cloud, hey, it's a bad sign. So now we're gonna get into the Dow Jones, same picture. So I'm not a type of trader nor someone who will be on YouTube screaming the market's crashing or the end of the world's happening. That is not my opinion, nor the type of message I would like to bring to our community. I just want to show people that, hey, you really need to just pay attention to the full market, not just that currency pair that you're trading, because this is a bigger picture. So with that being said, we got into a little technicals. Let's jump into our market sentiment. I apologize. So right now we have our commitment traders. If you don't know what the commitment traders are, or aka the COT report is, this is actually reported on the futures market, and it is compiled. It is accumulated on Tuesday and then shared to the public on Fridays, and today is Friday, hence why we're talking about it. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is Canadian dollar. We have the non-commercials, which are our hedge funds. We have the commercials, and then we have the non-profitable positions, which are the retail traders, you and I. So as a whole, we actually have more longs, and that's a positive thing. So just like I said earlier regarding the Canadian dollar for the week on the fundamental news is positive, and now we have some sentiment showing more positive. And they also shorted their shorts, or decreased their volume of shorts, not by much, but still this increase is a positive sign. So I would definitely be keeping my eye out next week for the Canadian dollar, seeing any more push, and then also we'll show on the technical side what we have. Next we have our Switzerland franc. So for the total, we have a positive long, and also a positive short, but it's not over the longs, meaning we don't have more volume of longs than we don't have more volumes of shorts over our longs. So many thoughts at one time. I apologize, guys. So yeah, this is a good positive sign for me. Looking at this as a whole, I've definitely been really pushing for the Switzerland franc. So this is a sign that I've been looking for. And yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about this as well, because this week on the technical regarding the US dollar Switzerland franc, we developed our pin bar. I think we actually hit our overbought area. We'll get into that right now, actually looking at that. So before we get into Switzerland, let's get back into the Canadian. US dollar CAD. So US dollar CAD, we're in on a weekly. We're still in the cloud. Me personally, I hate being in the cloud, but this is what we're going to do. The reason why, because our supply and demand zones makes us in this. So With that being said, it's only 2 spots we can go, and it looks like we're gonna be pushing downward. Hopefully, if we can continue with this Canadian strength, but because we have this pin bar, let's break this down on a daily. This is our Friday close into the cloud. I would say Monday, Tuesday, getting to this 55 bouncing out and then getting back into this level. But also, we have to see what we have on calendar coming up next week. So let's take a look at that. I'm not trying to make a full prediction for next week, but I just want to see what we have here. And I want to see the major impacts. So let's see what we have here. Monday, US dollar, British pound, and Japanese yen. Some moves and nothing major for Canada. So we gotta really hope that there's some oil news, especially with some OPEC. I think OPEC has a meeting within this week. I'm really not sure. I'll have to double check on another resource that I have. But let's get back into the charts. So yeah, we'll really get into the analysis of the charts on this page. But let's get back to the sentiment. So sentiment looks pretty positive for Canadian dollar and Swiss franc. Let's jump into Japanese yen. Cool, Japanese yen. We have more shorts. And you know what? I've been waiting for this. And also we decreased on our longs. But then we decreased on our shorts. So I think this is going to slowly decrease. But I really can't tell until I have enough momentum of either fundamental news backing me up for next week. But also I'll look at the charts and see what we have. But because we decrease on our shorts, that means it's a positive thing in a sense. Like, it's gonna sound weird for me to say this, but decreasing on longs means there's not enough strength for bulls. But decreasing on shorts, it's like you're increasing in shorts. In my head, I can be wrong, but that's how I see it. So I'm just gonna be keeping an eye out. Doesn't mean there's new shorts, but doesn't mean there's less. This is not less shorts. So let's see. And then we have the euro. So more shorts are coming in for the euro. So sadly, guys, you already know how I feel about shorting the euro. I don't like it, but this is what we got to do. So this is the sentiment of the market right here as a whole. So let's get into the charts. Bang, bang. So we'll first start with Swiss franc. Get on the weekly. Pull this up. So on the weekly, we actually created the pin bar that I spoke about. Couldn't break that monthly level. Yeah, we took the long. If you're in our chat group, we definitely took the long on this. Jumped in at this pullback. Took the long. Jumped in. Then got out. Didn't see enough volume for the bulls. So took profit in this area. And then jumped out. But then on the open, or before the open of the U.S. session, actually on Friday, there was another push up. Even my partner, he told me in the message, he's like, Trav, you should have just stayed in. But me, I'm not a greedy trader. I'll take what I can take. And, I'd rather be in the positive than the red. But he is right. I should have just stayed in, But regarding my students and everybody in the chat group and our community, I just want to make sure you guys are safe. So I'd rather just be on the safe side and tell you guys in advance, get out, so then you guys are not in the negative at the end of the day. But I'm pretty glad that I did tell you guys, just in case if you didn't get to our target, which our target was a little above, and I'll show you where. Take the auto off. My target was up here, and it didn't look like we was going to hit that. Not at the end of the week. If this was on Monday we had this move, I would have told everybody to continue on this move. But when we get to Thursday, Friday, there's a way the market flows, and I knew there wasn't going to be enough volume for the bulls. So I'm pretty glad we got out of this trade. And you know what? We took our profits happily. We took it like a champ. Took it like a champ. So this is what we have here. My predictions on the market: if we can break this 55 level and close below it on a 4-hour chart, I'm going to be shorting this and then get into this pivot point level and then staying into this. Get on a daily. My goal is to get back down to this monthly level. That's where I'm trying to short to. So it's not really hard. If we can't break out of this monthly level. The only other level we can go to is the old monthly level. So that's my goal. Not saying this is trading advice. This is just my forecast and my opinion, and also my outlook on the market. So this is what we have here on US dollars for some franc. So let's get into my second pair right here, which is going to be US dollar CAD. Now we got pretty close to our take profit levels for this one. If you've been watching any of the videos throughout the week, I did make this prediction last week, and we got pretty close. We took profit over here, not being greedy traders, and because this is the end of the week, so let's look at this on a weekly. As we already see, we're in this cloud, nothing new, but the positive thing is we still may have some strength for the US dollar, but looking at the oil news, we have to really keep an eye on the oil market, because Canadians can really slip up on you US dollar traders. So I would just say I'm really mixy. I'm neutral until I can read any positive news over the weekend, and I'll have a report for you guys in our chat group. But looking at this on a 4-hour, we're really close to the R1. We're still close to our pivot level on a 4-hour. So if we can just really break out of this monthly level, I'm still bullish on the US dollar. If we cannot keep this strength and we break below this pivot level, I'm a bear. And that's it, But I don't really have a strong opinion yet. I don't have a bias on this trading pair. So like I said, I'll wait until Sunday night. I'll read some more news and see what I can find. Do some little digging. In my opinion, as a trader, the market doesn't stop for me, because the market's closed on a weekend doesn't mean I'm not really doing my homework and studying. And it's not because I'm a mentor and a coach. It's just something I was doing even before this. Just you got to stay on top of the market. This is a business. If you owned your own convenience store, even though if you're closed on Sunday, you're probably still working on Sunday, restocking the shelves, getting ready for your next open, which is Monday, if you own your own convenience store. And the same thing for trading, you just want to just stay on top of your game so then you never caught slipping. So let's get out of here on the US dollar CAD, get into the Japanese yen. So Japanese yen still has a lot of strength. I did originally have a trading plan regarding, it falling. I still want to get to these levels if we can lose that Japanese strength. But until then, this is a positive that we had this on a 4-hour, but let's look at this on a weekly. Really getting close to this Ichimoku cloud, and these are our monthly levels. It is what it is. So my goal is if we can stay above this, cool, take it and be bulls. But if we cannot and we get close into this cloud, even though the cloud is very thin, hey, I guess we'll keep shorting this. But the positive thing is I was doing a little small scalps on the 4-hour today. And you know what? We took this down. Also, if you're in the chat group, we saw that I was alerting, hey, keep an eye on this. Because there was a lot of profit in this area. I want to say it's over 50 pips here. Roughly, 48 pips. It was beautiful. That open of the U.S. market really pushed this down. It was great. Let's get out of here. In my sentiment, like I said, until we can break out of this area, I'm neutral, just like the CAD, baby. Just neutral. Now, regarding Euro US dollar. I hate to say it, but the bulls are back, baby. So, we're really overbought, and we look at this on a weekly. We have this double bottom pattern, and it's slightly turning up. And I did this earlier today because I was trading this and keeping an eye because we took our profit, but we'll get into the profit talking. But right now we have this going on. So potential bat pattern, or if you want to call it whatever pattern you want to call it, but this is what we have. So I do see some strength coming in for the euro, and we just need it. We just need it, and I'm happy to see this potential pattern coming. If we do not push up for the week, it's safe to say the bears are still in. Even though, yeah, we broke under the cloud. Let me get rid of this bat pattern. Even though we slightly broke over the cloud and went under it, we closed slightly above our last low. So that's a sign for me. I won't know until our next week making my plan, but regarding for the next week, depending on how the market moves, I'm definitely going to be pushing up. I'm going to push up to this monthly level and then break out this monthly level, get to this cloud level and take profit and be good. I'm not going to be greedy. It's too dangerous for me because in the main story or the main trend of we're in a downtrend, you know. So I don't like to go against the main trend, but I see where I'm safe at. So that's my opinion on it. For the next week, I'm gonna be long Euro USD. As long as there's no other fundamental news that can kill me regarding the euro, and if the Italians can keep their news to themselves for this week, that would be great. If not, I'll just short it, you know. And that's the thing about being a trader. You may have your opinion, but don't let your opinions rule what your emotions. You know, I care. I love the euro. It was the first currency pair that I ever had in the sense of I live in America, so the first out of the country dollar I ever had was a euro as a kid, and it's just something important to me. So like that's why I tell people, oh, it's my favorite currency pair. Little background story about who I am as a person. But yeah, so long story short, I'm gonna be going long. No puns intended. Going long on the euro. Not much, just to this area, taking it out. But yeah, if you do have any more questions or you want to see how we do throughout the week, just message us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and yeah, keep on trading and stay positive, guys. Thank you again. Oh, and if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you see, we do comment back if you do comment, so give us a comment, good or bad. We just want to grow with the community. Take care.